Hi, my name is Aaron Beattie. I'm the barley and oat breeder at the Crop Development Center, and we're here at the Roblin site, standing in front of some of our oat plots. What we're doing here with the Roblin site is it makes up one of a number of sites that we have across Western Canada that we're using as part of our oat breeding program at the CDC. Uh, the purpose of the Roblin site is for us to get a sense of how well adapted our up and coming varieties are for this part of Manitoba and also eastern Saskatchewan. At the CDC oat breeding program, as you probably likely know, the breeding process is a fairly long one, probably 8 to 10 years we're looking at between initial crosses until the varieties are actually registered. And the plots that we have here represent the very last year that the material, the lines that we're evaluating are in our program before they go on to the official registration trials that make up the Canadian system of releasing varieties to growers. Here in Roblin, we're evaluating about 35 different lines. In our program overall, we typically have somewhere around 80 lines that are in this final stage of evaluation. So from this set of lines, we may identify potentially 4 that have all of the characteristics that we're looking for, and those will then move on to the official registration trials. That's a coordinated effort amongst breeders and pathologists and end users, where the lines that are looking to be registered in Canada will be evaluated for 2 years at about 15 sites per year. And at the end of that process, those lines are voted on. The pathologists are looking at them for disease reactions. The breeders are looking at agronomic characteristics, and the end users are looking at the grain quality characteristics. And if a line is deemed to have value or merit, then those lines will be voted on favorably, at which point they can be registered for use in Canada. And at that point, that's where the seed companies take over and bulk up that seed to get it out to growers in Manitoba, Saskatchewan, in Alberta, which are really the 3 big provinces where oat acres really dominate in Canada. Here at Roblin, what we're really looking for is how well adapted the varieties are. So we're looking at things like yield potential, lodging resistance, and maturity as some of the agronomic characteristics. As oat growers are probably aware, there's becoming more companies that buy oats who are not allowing glyphosate anymore as a dry down harvest aid. So things like maturity, earlier maturing varieties are becoming more and more important. So that's one of the things that we're looking at here. Other aspects that impact growers that we evaluate are things like crown rust resistance. So again, if we can release a variety that doesn't need fungicide application, again, that's a good thing, not only from the cost of that product or spending time driving around your field again, but also that impact that fungicide can have on delaying maturity a bit more is becoming more of an important aspect to the release of these new varieties. And then, of course, in order for an oat grower to actually sell their product to a miller or to a line company, we're looking at things like mill yield, high protein content, and also high beta glucan content. Those are some of the things that the end users are looking at. These days with oat, the last few years have been very positive in terms of acreage. We've seen acres go up the last 3 years. We're well over 3 million acres now. And with the interest in plant proteins, I think oat has been really flagged as one of those up and coming crops in terms of a source of plant proteins. So I think that's a very positive thing for oats in Western Canada. And there has been some movement, although the last year hasn't been great, in terms of trying to establish a little bit of a market in China as well. And so If things eventually settle out there politically, I think oats also may have a future in China, which in terms of acres would be a very positive thing for growers, especially this part of Manitoba where they grow some very nice oats here, and combined with eastern Saskatchewan, it's a very good area to source oats out of.